Hi everyone, welcome back to the workshop, and it's repair time again. Now I do actually have quite a list of test equipment to go through. Some of it's faulty, some of it's not, and I'll go off camera and I will actually sort it all out, and the stuff that does need repaired, I'm obviously going to make a video of it. But I just thought I'd dig into the pile and pull this first one. I haven't really looked to see if it's actually working or not. I know what's inside it, and this is going to be the first of hopefully many more repair videos. So let's get started. So this is a rather nice case. It's not the standard case that's supposed to come with this piece of test equipment, but it actually fits rather well. And what we've got here, let me just pull out, is a Dataman S4 programmer. Now I do actually have one of these myself, and I think I might have done a video on it. I'm not too sure. A really nice portable battery operated programmers. Used to use one of these back in the day. Really nice units to use. Quite old now, but still relevant to quite a lot of your dip packages and your SMT packages. You can plug in adapters here. Now this one's been sitting around for a while by the looks of it, because there is actually a power switch on the side and it does absolutely nothing. Now I know that there's a rack of AA cells, NiCad cells inside, so we'll open it up, we'll take a look inside, and if the batteries need replaced or any other repairs need done, then we'll do that. Now it also comes with the S4 charger here. Actually comes with an emulator cable, the ribbon cable, and what that's for is you've got a connector on the back here which you can plug the cable into, and there's a, let me just open it up, and you've got a DIL header at the end, and that plugs into your board, and you can actually emulate EPROMs using this unit. Very handy in the development process where you might want to make some software changes, possibly to the code you're developing, and instead of burning a new EPROM or PROM every single time, you can just hit the emulate button on here with this plugged into your board, and it'll emulate it straight away. And back in the day, we used to make good use of that functionality. And there's also a Dataman library ROM. You can get all sorts of different library ROMs for different sets of EPROMs or PROMs, families of devices. And what you would do is you would load this into here and program the S4 with the contents of the library ROM. And of course, if you wanted a device from a different set, you would load in a different library ROM. There is actually a battery, small coin cell inside the unit to retain that library ROM in memory, quite separate to the NiCads, and there's a good chance that coin cell's knackered as well, so we'll take a look at that. So first things first, let's open it up. Like I said, if it's not been used in many years, there's a good chance the NiCads will be flat, that's for sure. But there's actually a good chance the NiCads are actually knackered as well. But I do actually have some on hand that I can use to replace them if necessary. Right, let's take a look inside. And there we go, rather simple inside. Actually, it looks rather clean. There's that coin cell I mentioned. And this is a RAM IC, if I remember correctly. You can upgrade this to 512K, if I remember rightly, from the standard 256. I can't remember the numbers, to tell you the truth. On-off switch, reset button, and there's a contrast adjustment for the actual LCD in the front. And there's that NiCad bank on the back next to the piezoelectric speaker. So first things first, I think I'll actually measure the voltage coming from that NiCad pack, and let's just see if it's actually totally flat or not. Right, so this is the battery connection here. So let's just go on there. Let's see what we've got. 0.45 of a volt. No wonder it won't power up. But actually, like I said, it does actually look rather clean inside. So I'm just going to put the back cover back on, and let's turn our attention to the charger. And it is 12 volts AC output, 650 milliamps max. And it's got a small barrel connector on the end. So let me just plug it in, and we'll get the multimeter, and we'll see if we're getting 12 volts AC output. Right, I've got it plugged in off camera. Let's just measure across the connector there. Yeah, 15 volts AC. That's pretty good. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to plug this into the S4, and let's see if it accepts a charge. I'll leave it running for an hour or so, and then we'll see what sort of voltage we've got across those NiCads. Right, what's on the side here? Right, I'll just leave that for an hour or so, and then I'll come back. So I've still got it plugged in. I want to measure across the NiCads, and let's just see if they're starting to charge. So here is the voltage currently across the cells, 0.6 of a volt. So let's just check across the AC coming in. Yep, still 15 volts AC, so it's not like it's been pulled down. So we'll just leave it a while longer, and let's just see if those batteries are charging. And what I've done now is I've got my meter permanently across the batteries there, and it's with the AC input there disconnected. I'm getting about 0.8 of a volt, and if I plug it in, nothing happens at all. Now, given that I'm measuring the AC output from the charger, the AC adapter, 15 volts AC, whether it's plugged in or not, I would suggest that I'm not getting any current flowing into those batteries. And in fact, that DC across the batteries is actually dropping, and that's with the AC input connected up. Now, wiggling the connector, in case I've got a break there on it, doesn't seem to do anything. Disconnect it, plug it back in again. That's not charging. So I think I'll remove the board from the front panel there, turn it over, and let's take a look at the other side. Right, this is ringing a bell now. Down at this bottom corner here, we've got 4 diodes, and that's the bridge rectifier right next to that input connector, that power input connector there. Could probably do with a little bit of a touch up on that pad there, but it's probably okay. But I do remember these diodes here tend to get rather hot, and sometimes it discolors the board around about it. But they're looking okay, doesn't look too bad at all. So I'm going to hook up the power input connector, and let's see if we're getting anything on the output of that bridge rectifier there. I have actually tested the diodes with my multimeter, and they're all intact, about 0.6 of a volt across each one. So let's just see if that bridge rectifier is working. Well, I just started to reverse engineer the charging circuit, and then I remembered the unit needs to be powered up for the charging circuit to operate. So with a dead NiCad battery, you're between a rock and a hard place. You can't get it powered up, and you can't charge it. So what I'm going to have to try and do is I'm going to charge these batteries up at least enough that I can get power to the unit, and then I can test the charging circuit. So what I've got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1.5 volt NiCad cells, AAs, 8.4 volts then. So I'm going to use my bench power supply to charge them up. I'll set the current limit to 200 milliamps, maybe about 10 volts, something like that, and I'll try charging for a while. There'll be a good opportunity to see if these batteries are okay or not. So let me hook that up. Hopefully you can see this. So I've got it set to 10 volts, 200 milliamps, but it's off at the moment. So let me just hook this up here. A couple of single strand hookup wire. There we go. And let's just turn it on. And immediately the voltage is climbing and the current's dropping right down. That didn't take long, just a few minutes, so I'm a little bit dubious about those batteries, but I'm going to unplug it, plug it into the S4 again and hook up this AC adapter, and let's just see if I can get it powered up. Battery plugged in, AC plugged in, and let's see if it powers up. Yes! Well, it's powered up, and I remember there's a charge button somewhere. The charger's on the info button there. So we'll leave it a while and let's just see what happens. It's showing full, so I suspect those batteries are knackered. But we'll leave it for a while anyway and let's just see what happens. Actually, whilst it's doing that, I'm going to check across that AC connector there and let's just see what sort of voltage we've got now. It should be dropping down if there's a load across it. Oh, let's try AC. 12.6, so yes, that'll be powering the device and hopefully also charging those batteries. Now, in actual fact, whilst it's running, I'm going to load in the library ROM, because as we saw when it first powered up, there was no library loaded. And I just noticed that there's actually another library ROM, a homemade one by the looks of it. The bag's actually sealed up, so I wonder if that's from Dataman. S4 library version 2.2. So we'll just load up the original one. Right. I'll hit the library button if I remember rightly. Oh, let's just get out of there. Load library. Yes, version 2.45. And if that coin cell's working, which I'll have to check as well, then the library should be retained when we power cycle the unit. But before I do that, I do need to replace this coin cell. It's absolutely flat, but I do actually have a replacement here. So I'll remove the board and yep, it's the same pin out, I think. So I should be able to just replace it like for like. There we go. And it looks like they've just folded over that third pin there on that cell. So I will need to do the same on the replacement and in actual fact those ones as well. Looks like they've cut the pins off the original battery. So I'll have to do the same there. And that's it fitted back into its housing. Now let's just see if it powers up. Yes, it did. Now we've lost the library again because I disconnected that coin cell. So let me just load up the library ROM again. Library, load. There we go, that's that loaded up. And let's just check. The charger's connected, yes, and it's turned on and it's charging. Well, after about 20 minutes, the bar graph, as you can see, has gone full scale, and actually the charger's turned off, meaning the batteries are fully charged. So what I'm going to do now is disconnect the charger. And let's just see, first off, if I switch the unit off then on again, it should power up, but also the library ROM should be still loaded. So let's switch it off, wait a few seconds, switch it back on. Yes, we've still got the library ROM, so that coin cell's working great. So I'm just going to leave it now on this screen and let's just see how long the battery lasts with the unit powered up. I do suspect the battery's knackered and I'm prepared to change them out, but we'll just double check. Well, it lasted about 45 minutes, so the batteries are junk. Time to replace them. Okay, that's the rear panel off again. So I think the battery pack is just stuck in. So, oh well, wait a minute. It's coming out. Oh no, it's just pressed in. Perfect. And here it is. So I do actually have 7 of these with the contacts on them that I can just weld together in order to make up this pack. So first things first, I will remove this heat shrink here, see what sort of layout we've got, and then emulate it with the new batteries. And there we go. And as you can see, these NiCad cells also have the welded tabs between them. And I do actually have a mini welder, so I'll be able to emulate this, hopefully, exactly the same. Well, got my little mini welder all ready to go. And I've got 2 of the cells hooked up into the vise, and you can see the tab there. So I need to weld this tab onto that battery there. So let me just zoom in and we'll give it a bash. Right, here we go. Well, it's set pretty high. It looks like my welder is a little bit aggressive. It seems to be that if I don't use it for a few minutes and then try it, it outputs a lot more than sequentially doing it. Here we go again. There we go. 7 cells all welded together. Let me just transfer over the wires, then I can put heat shrink sleeving over the top. Okay, I'm going to put a few strips of Kapton tape just to hold it together, because as you'll see, it kind of falls apart very easily. And there we go. And that's much better. And I should be able to put some heat shrink sleeving on it now. I should have some thin stuff similar to this, hopefully. This is all I've got and it's really thin, so it should do the job. I'll just cut it to length and then I'll sleeve it on and then heat it down. Alright, I can put the battery pack into the housing now. Now you can see why I use the thin walled heat shrink sleeving, because there's not a lot of room inside here. And that should do it there. Alright, let's put power on. And yes, it powers up. And I'll plug in. Oh, it's gone flat already. Those batteries. There we go. And we'll charge it up. So I'll leave that a while and then I'll come back. So there we go. It appears to be charging just nicely with the new cells, and of course that new coin cell to retain the library ROM in situ, and I can box it back up and hand it back to its owner. So thanks for watching, and remember you can always comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. Links below to my website. There's plenty more repair videos on my channel, from the simple to the complex. Check them out, and thanks for watching.